All right, we live.
All right, come. Let me just share this real quick. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Shalom.
Shalom
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh.
to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, walking on water, disappearing, and manipulation of elements is real. All right, and as of late, you had I think saw Apostle Gabar did a couple of videos on it. I think the elder brother Karatazar from Vegas also did a video on it, and a few other brothers too, dealing with Vocab Malone's mockery of spiritual power. And in the video, he takes a clip from, I believe it's a brother from GMS, that mentioned how we're gonna be able to like throw tanks. Like if you're in that situation, the spirit comes on you, pick up a tank, throw it, as a form of spiritual power. And he basically makes mockery of it. Like, oh, these guys are saying they're gonna run around throwing tanks. Hebrew Israelites think they're gonna run around and throw tanks, and so on and so forth. But we're gonna go through the scriptures and show you that that wasn't a over exaggeration, or just us taking the scriptures and stretching it, but that was actually in the scriptures. That's what we're gonna read. We're gonna go through some various different accounts of the supernatural aspect or the spiritual power aspect of the Bible, and that's something that's not really gone into a lot, because people, they classify it as miracles. They'll talk about Moses parting the Red Sea, right? The quote unquote Red Sea. They'll talk about different accounts that happened, but they won't highlight the fact that it was a form of spiritual power, right? Supernatural power from a divine entity from on high, like King David. The things King David did. So they'll talk about David. They'll talk about when he committed adultery. They'll talk about how he took Goliath out, but they won't mention the Psalms when he talks about bending a bow of steel, or having hinds feet,
Yeah.
or analyzing how is it that you go to war and you kill thousands of people and you don't come back with a scratch. That's not something a normal person does. You got to have some extremely supernatural reflexes, and speed and agility to be able to do that. To leap over walls, that's not normal. But like I said, we're gonna go through a few of these precepts to dissect. Is spiritual power real? Yes, it is. And he's mad because guess what? Spiritual power is only for Israelites. There's no account of a non-Israelite having spiritual power. So you also gotta understand. Here it is. You've been coming against us for all these years, and what makes it worse is we telling you you're going in captivity if you're an Edomite, but if we also gonna get spiritual power on top of that, that just kills him. All right. So now we'll start with the book of Isaiah. Let's go to it, because see they'll sit here and try to explain away every precept and try to say no, that's not what it means. Isaiah 59:19 is not talking about this, and this is not talking about this. Well, let's go into Isaiah the 40th chapter. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 40, and I'm going to start at verse 28. It says, "Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting power, Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding." Verse 29. "He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall..." You want to speak on that? Or you...
No, I'm saying Khan.
Oh, okay, Khan. It says, "Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord, Yahweh, shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." So let's dissect that part for a second. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. So, okay, that's not literal. We're not going to actually grow wings out of our back. But what does this mean? Does this mean that how do you explain away this part of the scriptures? Whoa! It's not really literal. You're not actually gonna fly, but you're gonna excel in the word of the Lord. No, because when you go into the words here, when you go into the word mount up, it says here Ailah, all right, and it says to go up, ascend. It says to spring up, okay, to go up, to come up, to excel, to be superior to. It says here to be taken up into, to rouse, to offer, to bring up, to draw up. So in essence, when you go into it, it says to mount up, and it says shoot forth. Now, what I always think about when I read this is the scene from the movie Hancock when the kid wakes him up and says, "Aren't you supposed to be fighting the bad guys or whatever?" And then he takes out the drink from under the bench, and then he takes like a sip or something like that or whatever, and then he just like leaps and then just goes up into the air and just jets off, right? That is an example of mounting up, okay? Meaning you know, like you see it, like even the scene from Man of Steel, how he goes down, he gathers that energy, and you can see like the wind pushing the snow and stuff from around him, and then all of a sudden he just shoots up. You know, it's like when you have a spring that you coil and then you release it, and then it just springs up. And it says, what? You shall mount up with wings as eagles. So what do eagles do? They fly. So how are we going to mount up with wings as eagles? What does that mean? But then it goes on to say that, and they shall run and not be weary. So all of us are human. You run, you get tired. So here it says we're going to run and not be weary. That's not a normal trait.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Dragon Ball Z is another example. Okay, it says, and they shall walk and not faint. So how is it that, you know, we understand he's a scoffer, so he's gonna try to make fun of it anyway. But that's what I just talk about. When they see it, when they see these things, they're gonna, then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. You're not gonna be able to scoff when you actually see this. All right, because these things are gonna happen. See, the scriptures say Jacob's trouble is going to be a time like never before. And the Lord deals with a balance. So if there's going to be judgments and wickedness like never before, then there's going to be things on the right-hand side like never before.
Yeah. Got a precept. Yeah, to back up the previous verse, he gives might unto them that have no strength. This is Judges chapter 15, verse 13. This is dealing to the part where they had bound Samson. It says, and they spake unto him, saying, no, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hands. But surely we will not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that were burnt with fire.
So is that not an example, Salaki, is that not an example of was Samson tweaking? Because it says that's some Dragon Ball Z scene. They power up and then the energy is so hot, the thing burned off his hands. What's that about?
And it's ironic. These statements it's coming from those that claim to believe in the scriptures, man.
Right.
You know, the scripture says this thing clear, man. There is no alternative interpretation to this. This is as it is stated right here. You know. It says, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and the bands loose from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and brought forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called the place. I'm trying to find the place, the part where he didn't realize he was thirsty until after.
You want to say that?
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, Khan. And he was sore athirst, and call on the Lord and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant. You know, and now shall I die for thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? You know,
right.
Basically it.
Yeah. So that's an example right there where the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he slew 1,000 men with a jawbone of an ass. And Samson, we know, had super strength, because when you go into because his strength was in his hair. That's why the Lord said he was dedicated from birth, that his hair should not be cut. Neither could he drink basically anything of like grapes, the wine, the blood of the grapes, whatever. And when he was on his last, before he died, it said he killed more when he brought down the whole structure. He pulled the whole structure down and broke the whole foundation of that area. He killed more then than he had the whole time he was alive. So like we say, Salakia.
So good.
You know, how do you explain that? Right? Was that all metaphorical? Was it allegorical? You know, and now dealing with back in Isaiah 20, was it? No, 40, brother put some nice, he went into, put some of the meaning of the words on here. All right, and it says, way H-Town 144, I think starting with power, because the scriptures say here in Isaiah, get that 40 and 29, it says he giveth power to the faint. And when you go into that word power, gone, the water, you have strong G1849, and it says exousia, power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases, leave, permission, physical and mental power. Okay. Physical and spiritual power is highly mental. That's why the Lord always talks about faith. Okay, what do you believe? How well do you believe it? So the Lord is going to give us actual spiritual power. That is going to happen. Okay, and you're going to witness it. If you're not on the the receiving end of it. Now, the word renew. So in Isaiah 40 and 29, it says, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth their strength. And then when you jump down to verse 31, it says, but they that wait upon the Lord, as we are doing now, shall renew their strength. And when you go into the word renew, you have Strong's H2498, halap, as it says here. And it says to change, substitute, alter, change for better, renew, make someone or something different, alter or modify. So when you alter or modify somebody's strength for the better, then you go from having regular strength to having super strength.
Super strength, that's right.
Because you're altering the strength, meaning that the regular average man, maybe you could bench press 2 plates. Oh, damn, that's heavy. Oh, this. But when you alter it, that means you're changing it or substituting it for better. So how do you make strength better? By making it stronger. The power in strength is strength. Is strength. So to make it better, you would have to make it stronger than the average individual, strong enough to possibly pick up a tank and maybe throw it at your big ass head. All right. And then when you go into the word alter, it says change or cause to change in character or composition. So it says typically a comparatively small but significant weight, because you have the regular genetic design of us right now, in our bodies the way they are right now, they're not as strong as they were in the ancient world, right? But through the Spirit of the Lord, like dealing with Samson, for example, it says when the Spirit came upon him, he was able to, do all those things that he was able to do. When we spoke in different languages, right, during the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, the Spirit of the Lord came upon us. Now, Peter and them, which like we're going to get in the account in the book of Matthew, the things they did before Yahushua got on the scene, they weren't doing those things. You see? But through faith in Yahushua, they did those things. So how is it that we say we have faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and we're going to do those things as he said himself, and yet we're just, we're tweaking, we're bugging out. So let's actually go to the next precept, which I'm going to pull up here, and it's the book of Matthew. Because as you can see in the title, walking on water, disappearing, and manipulation of elements is real. And how do we know it's real? Yahushua did it, and other prophets. So if you call yourself believing in the scriptures, well then you're cutting yourself, because how are we a joke for saying, how is the brother, how are you making mockery of him for saying that we're gonna be able to throw a tank, when Yahushua said the things that we saw him do, we're gonna do and greater. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 23. And ultimately what it comes down to it is, a lot of them, they don't actually believe in spiritual power. That's why they try to find a scientific explanation for how these things happen. Yeah. And in that case, if they can't find one, they'll just say, no, it's not literal. It just represents something else. But
and also,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, and also because they do everything in their power to not seem crazy, but the Most High told us that the things that we're gonna do is gonna seem foolish unto men. So they're trying to take a path that the Most High said we're gonna be look foolish in front of these nations, and you don't try and you do everything in your power to not look foolish in front of them. You're ultimately not gonna be doing what the Most High wanted you to do in the first place. That's the thing. They want to be hip, modern men, scientific men, and they want to be able to explain everything. But you can't explain the magnificence of Yahweh Shem Yahushai,
And that defeats the point of faith.
Because
faith is the explanation. Faith is the proof. It is the evidence of the things not seen. So if you could explain everything away, then why would you need faith? See, when you know something, you don't necessarily need to hope for it, right? If you're hungry, you're like, damn, man, I want an omelet. You don't sit here and say, man, I really hope I get an omelet. Like, oh, fudge, like, I really hope I get this omelet. No, because all you got to do is go to the kitchen, grab the eggs, grab, the bread, and do what you got to do. And you can make an omelet. You know how to get to that. So you don't need to hope for it, because you know how to get it. You can explain it. But something you can't explain that's out of your power, that you hope for. Because you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I just hope I get it. So what I have here is Matthew chapter 14, verse 23. It says, and when he had sent away the multitudes, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary, and the apostles or the disciples were on the ship. And it says, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them, walking on the sea. That's walking. What is the sea? Is the sea earth? Is it land? Is it sand? No, it's water.
That's right.
So he went on to them as they were on the ship, walking on the sea. So that means Yahushua was walking on water. Okay? How do you do that? I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I can't tell you that he generated oil on the bottom of his feet and repelled. I don't know what airbender, fire. I don't know. But we just know that he walked on water. And water is an element. So clearly there had to be some manipulation of the elements there. How he did it, we don't know. But we know he did it. So that's the faith. So do we all acknowledge that Yahushua walked on water? Yes, we do. It's written. If you call yourself a believer in the word, then this is not metaphorical. This is pretty literal. Okay? So it says here, I'm going to read it again. Verse 25. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. So they were afraid. They were, what the fuck? What is that? Man, here it is, because it says it's at nighttime, right? And you want to see, typically men don't go walking on the sea like that. That's not something the average man just does. So seeing that, you think you seen a ghost. So they're like, what the, what I'm saying? Like, you probably one of them, you probably talking and you see something from the corner of your eye. And you know what I'm saying? You like, what's that? Stop playing. It's late right now. But anyway, they see him and they all get shook. Right? It says, and they cried out for fear. I mean, which is it's understandable. I mean, if you saw something like that, you ain't going. You know what I'm saying? We still men. It says here, but straightway, Yahushua spake unto them, saying, "Be of good cheer; it is I. Be not afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water." So Peter said, "Oh Lord, if it's truly you, let me come. Let me also walk there. Let me come to you." And he said, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, so now what was the ship on? Water. If he came down out of the ship, where would Peter be? He would be on the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, and when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. So Peter walked on water. Now, Peter, before he met Yahushua, wasn't walking on water. So what was the difference? Why could he now walk on water when before he wasn't born with the ability to walk on water?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the difference between Peter being a fisherman? I'm sure it would have been very effective for him if he could walk on water then, but he was able to do it now. Why? Because he had faith. Even though it's for a little while and then he started to sink, he had faith and he was able to walk on water. So he was able to do something supernatural that typically you wouldn't be able to do by believing that he was able to do it through the spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Now, typically, you don't see an individual grab a tank and throw it, but in a situation, believing in the Lord, why wouldn't he? Peter was able to walk on water, but that's not crazy. But if a brother says we're going to throw a tank, that's crazy. How so? So it says, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. So he walked, and then when the wind started getting crazy, then he got shook. And beginning to sink, he cried, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, "O thou of little faith." Not no faith, but little faith.
Little faith.
And that little faith was still enough to help him walk on water for a little period of time. It says, "Wherefore didst thou doubt?" So Yahushua was telling him, you started sinking because you started doubting. But he had faith to get on the water and he had faith to walk on it. But when he started doubting, it's when he started sinking. So this shows you that through faith, you can walk on water. Well, I'm not saying go jump in the middle of the Atlantic and try to do that shit. But I'm giving an account of what happened in the scriptures. This is biblical and this actually happened. So walking on water is real, right? We've established that. Yahushua did it and Peter also did it. Yahushua, we know he was the Messiah, right? But what about Peter? He would have been considered a regular man, right? We know in the spirit he's big in the spirit, but he was a regular man and he walked on water through what? Through faith. So the point is, he was able to do something impossible by believing and having faith. So now let's move on to the next precept. Unless you got anything you wanted to add to that?
Nah, that's it. I don't want to interrupt the flow right now. Everything is good. The water.
Right. So now the next precept is Luke chapter 24, verse 29. All right, and it says here, okay, and so we mentioned walking on water and disappearing, right? Luke chapter 24, verse 29. Now, what's happening here is Yahushua is dead. Well, he to the rest of the world, it seemed like he's dead because I think this was the third day when he was supposed to rise. And you have two disciples that are walking to I think a village called Emmaus, and Yahushua meets them on the way, and he makes it so they can't recognize him as Yahushua. And he's talking to them and he starts asking them these questions. What's going on? Why everybody so down? They're like, yo, where you been at? You know? So as he starts explaining and expounding the scriptures to them, here's where we are, Luke 24 and 29. But they constrained him, saying, abide with us, for it is toward evening. It's getting late. Stay with us. And the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave to them. And their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. Now, here's the thing. It says out of their sight, meaning as they were looking, because what does the word vanish mean? Let's get into that. Because we might no, he didn't do that. He lifted up the cloth and then he ran before they could catch him. No, it says out of their sight. So now let's see. What's the word vanish we have here? We have ginomai. It says to arise. Okay, what the hell? All right, it says of miracles to be performed. Clearly, they're not giving us any. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna look up the word vanished here, just in general, vanish. Because vanish is just another way of saying disappear. And right there, vanish, it says disappear suddenly or completely. To disappear suddenly or completely. So what does the word disappear mean? Disappear. It says disappear, cease to visit, it cloaks itself, or it's just not there, so I can't see it. You can't see something that's not there, right? So it says here, to go missing, become impossible to find. So here when it says he vanished, in other words, he disappeared. It says out of their sight. So they were looking at him 1 second, and then the next second he wasn't there. That's not something you're normally able to do. That is a form of spiritual power. Okay? Like I said, ask me the mechanics of it. I can't tell you. I don't know how he disappeared. I just know that he did. And I know that it was through spiritual power. So there's another account right there. So the Lord walked on water, first account. Peter also walked on water. Now the Lord disappeared. But now we would consider this today teleportation, because it says when we read, let's keep reading. Luke 24:31. And their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. So when he vanished, that means he left the area. He left the area by disappearing. That means he would have to have reappeared somewhere else. Today, we consider that to be teleportation. To instantly transport from one area to another. Teleportation. You disappear from one area and reappear in another area. So Luke 24:32. This is after he has disappeared. And they said one to another, did not our heart burn within us, meaning their mind, while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures? And they arose up the same hour and returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11 gathered together, and them that were with them, saying, the Lord is risen indeed, and hath appeared to Simon. And they told what things were done in the way, and how he was known of them in breaking of bread. So they told him, yo, he did this, he said this. We kept thinking, yo, this guy, who is this guy? Is that Yahushua? And then when he break bread, we finally, that's Yahushua, and then he just disappeared. Verse 36, and as they thus spake, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them. Let me see if they got something here for the word stood. But we know this would be him reappearing. It says, it says here, to cause or make to stand in presence of others in the midst. It says to set or place. Okay, to pretty much stand. Now, clearly he wasn't there before. Because if he was there before, they would have he came in through the door. But it says, as they were speaking, he stood in the midst of them. So he reappeared right in the midst of them. Now, he had to have reappeared from somewhere. If he's reappearing here, that means he's disappearing from somewhere else. It says here, and saith unto them, peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed they had seen a spirit. So why were they terrified? If he was just casually there with them, why would they be terrified? You think if I'm here right now, I see the brother, right? He sees me. And oh my gosh, whoa, when did you get here? No, he's been there the whole time. But if out of nowhere, he just popped up out of nowhere, you'd say, whoa, you'd be shook. Well, what the hell's going on here? Because regular men don't just teleport and reappear and disappear, right? So now it says here, peace be unto you, but they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed they had seen a spirit. And he said unto them, why are ye troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Wait, hold on. How do he know thoughts arise in their hearts? Because there's scriptures that says Yahushua knew their thoughts. If you know somebody's thoughts without them speaking, what does that mean? You read their mind, right?
Psychic.
That's it. Telepathic, as they call it.
Yeah, telepathy.
It says, behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones as ye see me have. So there's a third account, pretty much continuing in that first account. First he walked on water, Peter walked on water, then he disappeared, then he reappeared. Let's get the next one. Matthew 14, going back to Matthew 14, and we're going to go up a couple verses to verse 14. It says, and Yahushua went forth and saw a great multitude, and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. So that's a form of spiritual power right there. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, this is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals, so they can go eat, buy food for themselves. But Yahushua said unto them, they need not depart. Give ye them to eat. And they said unto him, we have but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he said, bring them hither to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. So now they're looking like, bro, 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Did you hear that? That's 5 loaves and 2 fishes. There's thousands of people here. It says here, so Yahushua sat them down on the grass and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat and were filled. Now, normally you would say, okay, if you're going to give everybody a piece, you got to take a tiny little pinch and give it to this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy. Because if not, the bread will be finished. So how was Yahushua able to feed? He's going to tell you how many people he fed. It says, verse 20, and they did all eat and were filled, and they took up of the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. Meaning, you started with 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and you ended up feeding thousands of people, and you had 12 baskets full remaining. So that's like, hold on. If I have 10 oranges, right, and I'm feeding 20 people, and at the end of feeding 20 people with 10 oranges, I have 15 oranges left. It doesn't add up, right? You're supposed to be subtracting from the 5 loaves. How do you have more at the end than you have in the beginning? You ever subtracted something and had more at the end? You pay a bill and you have more money in your account now than you did before you did. That doesn't make sense. The sign unusual is going on there, right? It says here, verse 21, and they that had eaten were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. So he had fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. How is that possible? By manipulation of elements. This is similar to what Elijah did with the widow woman, where she would pour the meal, but it wouldn't finish. Where Elisha also did this with another widow woman who was in debt. And he said, bring the little oil that you have, get barrels, and pour. So as they're pouring and pouring and pouring, the oil's never finished. Why? Because, well, today you would say he was multiplying the elements, meaning to make more of it, to make more. Maybe, scientifically, all we know is he was able to make more out of that little. Through what? Spiritual power. That's an example of manipulation of elements. Okay? So now, let's go to the book of John, chapter 14, verse 12. It says, verily, verily, and this is Yahushua speaking. Now, you claim to be a Christian. You claim to believe in the Lord, right? You call him Jesus and all of that. Cool. Well, this is Jesus speaking. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, now we believe on the Lord, the works that I do shall he do also. Was not feeding the multitudes, healing the sick, walking on water, disappearing and reappearing, were those not part of the works that Yahushua did? As a matter of fact, the scriptures say, if you try to contain all the works he did in books, not even all the books in the world could contain the works Yahushua did. Mm-hmm. Now he out of his mouth said, if you believe on him, that's what? Faith, right? The works that he did, it says, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater. It says, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go on to my Father. So is Yahushua a liar? Because walking on water, that means that what? We believe on the Lord. So at some point, we're going to be able to do that. Healing people, bringing people back from the dead, being able to do those things the Lord did and greater, things that he didn't even do. So how are you making mockery of the brother when Yahushua said this? And we purposely went through a few examples of the works Yahushua did to show you what he meant. But I think you say you had a precept to tie into that part.
Yeah, it was gonna go into the Acts, the second chapter, or at least the first chapter. And when the disciples received spiritual power that Yahushua gave them, they were called witnesses, right? And what I'm wanted to just bring out was the fact that, look, the truth of Yahushua, the words in the scriptures is truth, and it always comes to pass. All of it will come to pass, including the book of Isaiah, when it says we shall mount on wings, right, as eagle, and we shall run and not be weary. Mm-hmm. So when you think about the word witness, right, a witness is sort of like a proof to something. You know, like when you go to court, a witness is somebody who gives proof. He's part of the proof to something. And what makes a man of the Lord? What are some of the things that makes a man of the Lord? How do I put it? What are some of the things that prove a man to be a man of the Lord? Right. And one of those things are what? Spiritual powers, you know? And so it is only fitting that, look, being a witness is a privilege, and it's a real thing, man. And so we are definitely going to receive spiritual powers. We're going to be doing supernatural things. We're gonna do things that are beyond the comprehension of common men. And also you have to understand that these scumbags out here that are throwing doubt, it is their job. It is their nature. The Most High put people on this earth to do what they're supposed to do. The righteous was supposed to be righteous, and the wicked was supposed to do his wickedness. People were supposed to cast doubt, and people were supposed to stand in faith. You know, the works vocab is supposed to. He's doing his job. He's being a demon right now. That's what he's supposed to do. It is your job to be a righteous person, a faithful person who stands so boldly, who stands so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shai. You know, like it says in the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, I believe in chapter 5. As a matter of fact, the second chapter, yeah, Khan. Right. Matter of fact, the second chapter. Wisdom of Solomon, second chapter, verse 12. Start from verse 12.
All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, chapter 2, verse 12. Mm-hmm. It says, therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
And this is the mind of the wicked person right now. These are the minds of them, right? Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Because he is not for our turn. Mm-hmm. And he is clean, contrary to our doings.
That's right.
He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy the transgressions of our education.
Right, and this is the root of their hate against us, man. They hate us for what? For striving towards righteousness and telling people that the wicked path leads to death. They hate that. They wanna do wicked conscience freely, but it doesn't work that way, you know. But we're gonna have to keep going.
Right, verse 13. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
Right, and they mock us for these things, man. When we tell them that we are sons of the power, when we tell him that the Most High loves us so much that he's going to bestow his power upon us that we may overcome our enemies, they scoff at us. They laugh at us, man. They think that we're just a bunch of bumps, a bunch of crackers, a bunch of niggas who don't know shit. You know, they're just talking out their ass, you know? Like, keep going.
Good. Verse 14. He was made to reprove our thoughts.
Keep going.
He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion.
That's right. And now you understand why Vocab will dedicate his life, you know, into like his whole life is about proving Israelites wrong. But meanwhile, all this time he's calling the Black Hebrew Israelites like people that are insignificant, people that are unwise, people that have no significance whatsoever. But all this while he's gonna put all his strength, his energy, his time, his resources, his education, all of that into proving the Israelites wrong, man. Which shows you that the significance of this ministry, man. Because like I pointed out before, the people don't have a problem with a nigga being Muslim. People don't have problems with an Israelite being a Buddhist, man. They're Israelites like that. They don't care for an Israelite to be an atheist. They don't care about that. Vocab could have gone around and teaching those that don't believe, could be going around teaching so-called Black people that are atheists in the Bible, but he's not doing that. That's not part of his ministry. That is far from his start, man. You know, but all he's focused on, all he wants is the Hebrew Israelites to prove them wrong, man.
Right. He's consumed up in it.
Khan.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's like you know, when you get those spam calls and there's Moabites talking Chinese on the phone with the little background music and shit. The second you catch wind, you say hello. We John Mo, y'all trying to you hang up and there. Oh, this niggas, man. You hang it up. You don't give them the time of the day because they're insignificant.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Now, if it's somebody else that they calling you, if you on the phone for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, clearly this person on the phone he got to you.
Right? Yeah.
So he's on the phone every day. He's calling us. Now it got to the point we didn't even call him. He's calling us. Yo, listen, we gotta settle this. Why don't you call? The same way you're not gonna call them Moabites back, you hang up on them in 0.2 seconds because what? They're irrelevant to you, right? So how say you guys are wrong, you guys are irrelevant, you guys are this, but why are you still here? Why are you still on the phone with us, trying to call us, 200 missed calls, 50 voice messages, 1,000 text messages that, yo, I was looking at what you said last time. Here it is. We had one conversation with this guy, and he can't.
That's right.
You mentioned sheep, but when you really look into it, it's not sheep. It's actually goats. So I want to discuss that a bit with you. So when you get the time, just give me a call back. That's what he.
God, man, and we see right through all this, man. Yeah, that's the attitude of a little kid, you know.
Yeah.
We can keep going. Verse 17.
Heartbroken teenager.
Yeah. Oh, well, 16. It's like it.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father.
It says he abstaineth from our way as from filthiness, and they hate that. That's why they have a name for us. I believe. What was it that we hate? We hate mankind. The word that I forgot what it was. It's like an antisocial person. I'm sorry?
Misanthrope.
Right, a misanthrope, right? Like they thought these words. That's why you have this woman on the news who was saying, the Hebrew Israelites, everything is wicked, everything is bad. You know, they can't have fun, they can't do anything. You know, you with a woman, she gets mad because you can't just, you don't want to go out and into the wickedness. And she's frustrated that you always have a negative opinion about the things in the world. You know, she's mad that she's mad, right? That you won't go with her to the club. You know, she's mad at that. She's mad that you don't want to involve in these wickedness. You know.
Verse 17.
Continue verse 16. Oh, verse 17. Right. Oh, verse 16 says he pronounces the end to be of the just to be blessed. That's right, and that is what we do. See, they would love for us to be in despair. They would love for us to have the point in they would love for us to be like in a black state of mind, to be calling ourselves black people. For they would love for all only. Let me see. like they will love, like, right, for our only goal to be to prosper in America. They will love that. They will love our only goal to be to go to the white man for him to give us equality, for him to give us justice. You know, that's what they love about us. Mm-hmm. That's what they want us to stay. They want us to be what? Under them. They are content with that. And so whenever we strive for something better, they hate us and they will do everything in their power to drag our asses back into the dirt. You know?
Right.
We continue.
Mm-hmm. And maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17.
Yeah, verse 17.
It says, "Let us see if his words be true,
mm-hmm.
and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him."
Right, and all this thing that they are doing right now. See, the scripture says that they're actually going to get physical, but this strategy that the brother just read right here, let us see if his word be true. Let us examine him with spitefulness. It has already begun. It is, but it's just slow and gradually right now. It has already begun. They hate us, and before they get physical, what was it? Before I think when we went to the word sedition, you said that before there's like
the insurrection, you have the
yeah. Before there's an insurrection, have a sedition, and sedition is just words, a hateful word, you know, disagreement, you know, speech, hateful speech against authority, and then ultimately insurrection. So that's essentially what's going on right now. All right, but I don't want to go too long into it.
The scriptures say that there shall be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
So if you there we go.
Insurrection is like sparked by sedition, by seditious talks. So you're gonna have sedition against them, but you're gonna have people inciting other people to come against us, and you got your Malones, just like they did in the time of Yahushua. They selected these men, and the apostle Paul. It said that they stirred up the crowd against him. You see, you have people saying, "Yo, this guy is saying this. Yo, this guy. Yo, get off the city," to incite that insurrection against them. So, hey,
and they don't even understand that. Look, those that followed the Yahushua, they were called, I believe, a historical account said that they were delusional for following immortality, for striving for immortality. You know, but today it's a normal thing now. You know.
Yep.
But brothers can probably get into it. I don't want to make it too long, so jump to chapter 5, and let's get it.
First verse.
Let's see. Yeah, Khan, first verse.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, far beyond all that they look for."
That's right. They shall be amazed by the strangeness of his salvation. You know, they shall be amazed when when he's on the train to the concentration camp, but no native troop can see you because you're invisible. He's gonna be amazed. Yo, I'm here in chains on the train, but this nigga just walking around here. Why is he walking around? The law says you're supposed to apprehend his ass and take him to the camp. Why is he walking out there? He shall be amazed. He's gonna bug the fuck out. You know, he shall be amazed when, for a moment, my brother was sitting next to him where he thought they shall be amazed when, for a moment, someone who was in the truth was in the trains, but all of a sudden he wakes up and says, "I don't want to be here no more." And then he walks through the walls. They shall be amazed. You know, they shall be amazed in the case of Peter, sitting there bound, and an angel comes, take him up. Everybody, you know, just, and he thought it was a dream. You know, the next thing you know, he's in the middle of a city. They shall be amazed by these things. You know, so keep going.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point, because you know, when you go into it, ultimately, our main salvation is going to be when Yahushua comes back, which is going to be the greatest shock to the world. But like you were giving examples, salvation, when you actually go into like deliverance, we're going to be delivered even before Yahushua comes back on many different scales, like examples you gave. And in all those accounts, the people who witness it are going to be amazed at it. You know, you're going to have little accounts of that amazement or that scenario happening up until the major time when the whole world sees us or the elect getting delivered. You know, so that's a beautiful point you made right there. Imagine you just, like you said, you just phase through the cuffs
Yeah.
Because here it is. Lord might have you in there so that you could deliver somebody else. He might just say, all right, it's time. So all right, cool. You get up and you just grab, come here. You phase the cuffs off him and you grab him and just walk out through the wall. Yeah. Like you said.
He just said, yo, I'm tired. I want to go home. Just walk through the walls, bro. Yep. Just walk through everything. Everyone walk through the bullets and then you're home. They're going to be amazed at that. Just to not make this long, or let's see, jump down to verse 7, and then I'm going to end it if you can add on to it.
This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 verse 7. It says, we wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
That's right. Keep going. I want to get to that point. Yeah.
Okay. What hath pride profited us, or what good hath riches with our vaunting brought us?
That's right. And eventually they're going to be broken down and they will no longer have the strength or nothing to hold. They will no longer have anything that allows them to be our enemy anymore. That's what it says. What? You can read one more time.
It says, what hath pride profited us, or what good hath riches with our vaunting brought us?
That's right. So eventually they're gonna be broken, man. Their mentality is gonna be changed, and they're ultimately gonna be like, you ain't gonna have no enemies in the day. But until that point, understand that there's supposed to be wicked people here. There's supposed to be people that try to discourage you. There's supposed to be people that try to plant doubt in your head. There's supposed to be people who spend day and night trying to make sure that your ass don't follow your Yahweh anymore. There's always going to be somebody like that. Understand these things. Plant your feet, right? And like I said, don't be a reed in the wind, man. Don't be blown to and fro by doctrines. Be still in it, man. Because the test of Yahweh ain't easy, man. This what we're doing here on this world is sort of like a test, and it ain't easy. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to feel as though somebody's opposing you. That's what makes the deliverance even more better, So that's it.
Beautiful point. Yeah. So I'm gonna just jump to this last precept here in the book of Zechariah, the 12th chapter. All right, and it says explicitly, because we know according to Amos 9 and 11, the Lord said he's going to build the tabernacle of David as in the days of old, right? So that means that you're going to have King David, you're going to have the men that were with him, you're going to have the house of David, which are the elect. So now let's deal with the house of David, Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. It says, in that day, right? In that day, shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them, talking about the elect, at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. So what does that mean? The house of David shall be as God. What is that talking about? And it says here, when you look up the word God, it says it right here, Elohim, meaning what? Divine ones, godlike powers. This is like the scripture in Psalms 82:6 says, I have said ye are gods, but ye shall, all of you are the children of the Most High, but ye shall fall and die like one of the princes. Well, after that, because they came that falling away, we left our godlike estate. But now in that day, we're going to go back to being in actual true gods, the fullness and the completeness, because now we're going to be immortal, but we're going to be gods knowing left hand and right hand. See, here's the thing about Adam. When Adam had immortality, he didn't have the knowledge of good and evil. And when Adam had the knowledge of good and evil, he didn't have immortality.
That's right.
When we get it, we're going to have both. We're going to have knowledge of good and evil, and we're going to be immortal. So we're going to be perfected. That's why, if you notice, what were the two trees? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. And the angel said, now he knows good and evil. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Let's see. Become as one of us. Yep, Genesis chapter 3, verse 22. And the Lord said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. See? So now after partaking of that fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, man or Adam had the knowledge of good and evil. That's why they say he has become like one of us, right? Now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever, because that would make him a true God, one that lives forever, but having the knowledge of good and evil, like the Most High. But he wasn't able to do that. And our way back to that is right now what we're going through. So that's why it says, in that day shall the house of David be as God, meaning we're going to be both immortal and we're going to have that knowledge of both the right hand and the left hand. But we're going to be perfected because we're going to know right and left, but we're going to execute right. Okay? So ultimately, as it says in Zechariah 12:8, the house of David, which is another name for the elect, are going to be as God, meaning they're going to be powers. And we're actually going to be transformed and changed, as Paul mentions in 1 Corinthians, you know? And also, the scriptures say that we don't know what we're going to be like, but we know that when Yahushua comes, we're going to be like him. So ultimately, when we get our bodies changed, we're going to be able to, now if Yahushua in his humanly form was able to do the things we read about, how much more for his godly form? And we so spiritual power is real. But you know what? Yep. Like you said, the Most High got to have people like this to come against it. And lastly, I'm going to finish it off with this precept because that's set it up nicely. He has people come against it so that when he brings it, it's even more magnificent.
Yep.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 17. For when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou shalt thy strength, and among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. So we're bold in the Lord.
God,
you know,
God.
Oh, as a matter of fact, hold on a second. Let's add.
Yeah, it's flooded in.
This is and even right now we have spiritual power. The fact that we're able to break down these scriptures is a form of spiritual power. We have knowledge that is not of this world. So that is, how do you think right now the precepts, right? I say, oh, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. That's not of me. That's the Spirit of the Lord. So there's a divine power that's dealing with us right now. Okay? And that's a form of spiritual power. And they envy that. See, that's why Vocab can't get over us, because he envies the fact that we know the scriptures this well, and that we didn't have to go to a theological cemetery.
Yeah.
You know? It was given to us by the Spirit of the Lord through our teachers, our elders and apostles. And they envy that because they're saying, how is it that I go and pay all this money and I come and see niggas on the street and they know more than me? They got me against the ropes. What's that about? You know, so he's fixated. Now he's growing. Now, all of a sudden, what made him have a change of heart to grow a beard now? You know, next thing you know, he gonna have a garment out there on the street corners. Now, this is the book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 20 or verse 19. It says, so then after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven and sat on the right hand of God. So that shows you they're not the same entity. Verse 20, and they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them and confirming the word with signs following. So the Lord always deals with signs to confirm what we are saying. We see it all the time. We'll be at camp talking about something, and then the Lord has that same thing coming past our spot. If we talk about women with tattoos, there's going to be a woman with so many tattoos, you can't miss it. You know? So the Lord always confirms with signs, and he's going to do it now because we've put his name out there. We've said, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to give us spiritual power. We're going to do these things. So if you were to say, hi, look at what they're saying, and the Lord should just be quiet, that makes him look bad because we're representing him, right?
Yeah, I was going to add on to, remember when we were in the car, we were driving, we were watching, I believe Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rama's video, and then we saw a horse, And then like 3 seconds later, he said horse. You know. Yeah, that's the spirit, man.
Yep. So the Lord always deals with signs, and you know what? He's about it. He, like we said, he sets it up this way because he's about to start, opening those things up. So at the end of the day, guess what? Maybe you might find out that a brother can lift a tank when you the one at the receiving end of the tank that's being swung. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You got anything else?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
All right. So hey, yeah, that's pretty much it. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. Spiritual power is real, and the Lord is gonna bless you with it, and the whole world is gonna witness it. Okay. So it's only a matter of time, man. And the Lord is about to start showing the more supernatural things of the scriptures in this time. And we that believe it are those that will receive it. Believe it. So with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rekakadash.
Until next time, shalom.
Shalom. Oops.